Hello once again, my name is Darryl Kwao. Thanks for being with us. Now, some workers of the Ghana National Fire Service this morning converged at the premises of CDH Financial Services to demand the payment of the outstanding pension funds. The funds managed under CDH Asset Management, a subsidiary of the company, matured early this month after a 5-year period. Group CEO of CDH Group of Companies, Emmanuel Edusa Akodie, however, told Joy Business that efforts were underway to pay all 7,000 workers by the end of this week. Here's more in this report.
So I'm currently here at CDH House, where hundreds of workers of the Ghana Fire Service across the 10 regions of Ghana have converged to, as it were, take back what they claim to be the provident funds that the company is refusing to give to them. I've already spoken to the manager, who claims the fact that this is a public outrage, which needs not be. Why? Because there seems to be some mismanagement in terms of the communication between management of the fire service and that of CDH. It was a moment of chaos when aggrieved workers of the Ghana National Fire Service trooped to the premises of CDH Financial Service, demanding that payment of their 5-year pension funds be made in cash. These workers, who came from all 10 regions of Ghana's Fire Service offices, told Joy Business off camera that management of the fire service failed to tell them about the deductions of funds made from their salaries to the asset management subsidiary of CDH in charge of pension investments. Group head of CDH Group of Companies, Emmanuel Edusa Akodie, told Joy Business that there was some miscommunication between workers of the fire service and their management regarding payment of pension funds. According to him, plans are already far advanced to complete payment by end of the week.
100 people, it looks like an invasion. So that's why you see many people on the compound. So what we're doing is we're processing them 10 by 10 each. And so yesterday we paid 500. Today we're hoping we can pay another 600, and then we pay everybody off. But our appeal to them is there's no need to come. We will send the money to your account at your station.
But their main concern happened to do with the fact that their bosses, the fire service, never did tell them about any kind of deduction whatsoever. I've spoken to some of them who said the fact that their salaries came, this month, and they realized that some deductions have been made, and it's been the trend for the past 5 years. That's what triggered them to come over here.
I mean, they all filled forms. We don't just deduct people's money. They all filled forms indicating that they had signed up to a product. Now, of course, they come in groups and in batches, so that's how we process them. I think maybe there's some miscommunication between their heads of units and them, but for us, we have a genuine transaction that we did with them. It's time for them to collect their money, and we'll pay everybody off. I thought we had agreed with these people that they should stay in their stations. They will be paid because it's not worth it. You'll be paid through the banking system. There is no need for you to come and line up, make a long queue, 600 of you to be paid your money. It will be paid to you. We will put in your account. Most of them say no. They want to take their money themselves.
So far, workers of the Eastern, Western and Volta region branches of the service have been paid their funds, while the rest of them are to report at the head office of the fire service for processing and payment.
In other news tonight, Ghana is making a case for ECOWAS member countries to recognize provisions under the Trade Liberalization Scheme, ETLS. The call is spearheaded by stakeholders of Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso trade corridor as a result of unfriendly practices by some custom and port officials along the route. Speaking to Joy Business, Deputy Trade and Industry Minister-designate Carlos Ahenkra called on the ECOWAS Commission to enhance efforts aimed at implementing regulations in the ETLS. He was speaking at the launch of the first Borderless Alliance Ghana Forum in Accra. According to the Deputy Trade and Industry Minister-designate Carlos Ahenkra, trade procedures and customs processes at Ghana's borders and ports are undergoing some transformation as part of measures to implement World Trade Organization and ECOWAS protocols on trading. For now, countries like Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire, for instance, have not made any efforts in this regard, a phenomenon he describes as very unfortunate.
Fortunately, the understanding among member states is becoming increasingly difficult. If you had listened to me earlier, you'd have heard some of the problems that I enumerated. But chief among these problems is the imposition of transit tax by some of these countries, which is hindering seriously the improvements that we are chalking in this direction. Indeed, it might interest you to note that there are certain countries, and from the Ghana to Nigeria corridor, there are certain countries that charge you taxes as if the goods are entering for home consumption, whilst indeed it is only transiting through their country, which only needs a cursory check for the goods to move on.
Mr. Ahinkrat therefore disagrees with the call by some civil society groups and stakeholders in the industry to sanction member countries which flout the ETLS trade rules along the borders, saying this could compel some member countries to opt out.
The question is, will the sanctions work? Do you want to bring up sanctions and ask them to leave the organization? What we do with ECOWAS is mainly reasoning, is mainly compromise instead of sanctions. Because if you decide to place sanctions, people have the right to opt out or opt in. Ghana has been a leader when it comes to implementing ECOWAS protocols, and we will take this opportunity to beg our colleagues in the sub-region to, as it were, let the program work. It will benefit you, it will benefit me. I want to go to Togo and nobody will ask me any questions. I want to enter Ivory Coast and nobody will ask me to produce a passport, and so on and so forth. Even though you don't need a visa, today crossing the border at each side, whether east or west, it's very challenging. And I think that we can do something about it. Let us do it in our lifetime.
The forum, under the theme Positioning Ghana as a Gateway to West Africa, is the first in a series of activities scheduled for the year 2017. Now, government has been outlining modalities that will guide implementation of its flagship industrialization policy, One District, One Factory. According to government, the project must be commercially viable. It should have the capacity to employ a significant number of persons to be able to influence the local economy significantly. Additionally, the factory should be able to produce commodities that the country imports. And Trade Minister Alan Tremantin disclosed this to Joy Business after a post-budget seminar organized by the Private Enterprise Federation for Businesses. He tells Joy Business the project has taken off after extensive engagements with industry players.
Implementation of the program has already started. Okay. I mean, in the sense that we've talked today about companies or individuals that are interested in participating, let's say, in the One District, One Factory initiative. We've given an indication as to the operational guidelines for becoming part of this. They will publish this on the website and so on and so forth. But then the key to the success of this program is for the private sector to take advantage of the initiative. We've made it clear that this is not government establishing enterprises. This is government supporting the private sector to initiate and establish these enterprises. And so we can only facilitate, but the initial action must also come from the private sector.
In a quick sum, what are some of the modalities that you explained earlier that we need to, that would aid the establishment of these districts in terms of the pure modalities?
Well, we said, for example, that any individual or group of individuals or corporate entity that is interested in being part of this 1D, 1F, One District, One Factory initiative must submit an expression of interest either through the district assembly for the particular district in which he or she intends to be part of, or submit that expression of interest through the Ministry of Trade and through the Chief Director. So that's the starting point. We need an individual or group of individuals to first generate an interest. So part of what we are doing now is an advocacy and communication plan to try and whip up interest amongst the private sector in participating in this program. But once an expression of interest is submitted, then it allows us now to start working with the private sector potential operator and then the district assembly now to go to the next stage, because as I explained, we have profiles of over 300 potential projects that have already been prepared. So as if we are starting from scratch.
Agric Minister Dr. Efie has assured operations of Cocoa Board and the activities in the sector will not be affected. This follows revelations by new board chairman of Cocoa Board, Hackman Owusu Ajiman, that the $1.8 billion cocoa loan meant for this year's cocoa production season has been exhausted despite outstanding payments yet to be made. But the Agric Minister Dr. Efie Akoto says there is no cause for alarm.
This country is going to turn the fortunes of agriculture around, provide cheap food for the urban areas, and not only the urban areas, provide the stocks for us to be able to enter the West African market. And so,
is it also going to feed into the commodity exchange? I mean, you were talking about taking time.
Yeah, but commodity exchange, you need time and resources to do it. You need the warehouses to hold them in a certain temperature and all that. It's going to take a while. But we are making the start, towards commodity exchange, towards the certification system and all those things. People have been sitting around talking about this for a long time, but we definitely are going to start the process.
But finally, yesterday, the board chair of Cocoa Board, which is under exploration, talked about the fact that the syndicated loan, we've exhausted everything. How are you going to purchase fresh beans going forward?
Oh, I mean, we are making financial arrangements. I mean, Cocoa Board is a very wealthy organization, and it should be very difficult for local banks to syndicate a loan for us to continue with our work.
We are taking a short break here on Business Live. We're right back with the Joy Business Van. Welcome back to the program. Gloria Ojo grew up watching her mother sew. It was her mother's hobby, but Gloria decided to take it to another level. Today, she is CEO of Go Creations, which specializes in interior and fashion design. How did she break out? Her story next on the Joy Business Van. From grandmother, mother to daughter, they have one thing in common: they love to sew. It was a hobby passed on from one generation to the other, but Gloria Ojo decided she'd take it up as a career, and well, she did. Gloria didn't start off as an interior and fashion designer.
Growing up, I saw my grandmother always sewing at home. And then my mother also sewed. But when I remember very well when I had interest in, okay, show me how to use the machine, this and that. Yeah, my mother especially tells me, go and study.
But after pursuing her education, Gloria became more and more convinced she would not fit in a corporate setup. She decided to polish her skill. Her career as an interior and fashion designer started in her bedroom, where she would create designs for family and friends. The business started to grow. Soon, Gloria would launch her own brand, Go Creations, initials of her name, Gloria Ojo.
This yourself? Yes. Oh, and the veil.
Oh, nice. Gloria tries to make her designs as unique as possible. So where does she draw her inspiration from?
I think things I see around. I normally tell people that you can see a tree and then create a dress out of it. When I go to town, I look at what people are wearing, and then I always have a small book in my bag. So when I sit down, I will try to sketch and try to make it my own way. That, okay, this dress, okay, I could put this thing here, and then it becomes something else.
Staying unique is perhaps one of the major challenges for Gloria in an industry that is highly competitive. Every design she comes out with is carefully sketched at her workshop.
We try to put ideas on paper before we even go ahead to produce anything for anyone. So we have here, for the fashion, we have here drawings of clothes and the parts of the clothes. and with that division in the parts of the clothes, we can be able to put them together and then make it into beautiful clothing that everybody can wear or everybody can purchase.
Gloria's entrepreneurial journey has been a step-by-step, little-by-little approach. She invested everything she has in her business, and she still continues to reinvest.
I will use almost everything on me. And then there are times I wouldn't even have money to go out of my house. And all I look up to is that, okay, I'm doing something to achieve something in future, so I just keep on pressing on.
Pressing on, Gloria has, and that has gotten her where she is now. She set up a training unit to help others like her, and her ambition is to break into the international market.
Future plans for Go Creations is for it to be a household name in Ghana and in Africa as a whole, and then internationally for it to be noticed and our products to be used anywhere in the world without any problems with our products.
Gloria's story is one of passion and determination. It's working for her so far. All right, so you can watch a rerun of this episode of the Joy Business Van tomorrow on the Marketplace. For now, time for your busy bits.
Ever wanted to make something look special in a Word document? There's a whole list of font effects that are available that you might not even know about. To find them, go to Format on the menu bar and select Font from the menu. By the way, if you make a bunch of changes to your words that you don't like, you can always click the default button to remove all the formatting.
Joy Business Van, empowered by Joy Business.
We want to bring you our interview of the day now. And as Ghana and South Africa work to open up their markets for bilateral trade, Ghanaian investors are being admonished to take their time to understand the South African market. There appears to be more South African businesses in Ghana than the other way around. Corporate Relations Officer of the Ghana South Africa Business Chamber, Bruce Yao Ado, believes the situation is so because few Ghanaian investors are able to meet South African standards.
South Africa has it's quite tough standards to get in your products there, but with the help of the Ghana High Commission, normally we advise that if anybody wants to do business in South Africa, you can contact the South African High Commission in Ghana. They have an economic section. They will assist you. You can also contact the Ghana High Commission in South Africa. They will also assist you, so it's easier when you involve these departments.
Okay. When you talk about tough standards, is it that Ghanaian businesses are not able to meet those standards? Is it a deficiency on our part, if I should say?
Not a deficiency per se, because normally Ghanaian products or most Ghanaian businesses like to target the West African region. So then now going to the southern part of Africa, not tough and it's almost impossible. Let me give you an example. An example where you have a Ghanaian company producing beverage. For South Africa, sometimes the standards of maybe the quantity in a bottle is different, so you just need to repackage. Not necessarily impossible to get your goods and businesses in there, so you just need to, look at them and then do what they require.
Time to go away. Remember, you can always keep up to date on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Carl. Thanks for watching.